Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In today's video I want to give you a little update on my Jungle Aquascape aquarium. The scape is now 20 months old. This is the longest I ever kept a scape going for. It's been really interesting to see how this scape's evolved and progressed throughout its time. There's been a few challenges along the way, but from that I think I learned a lot of important things when it comes to aquascaping. In the future I'll be able to use what I learned from the scape in a new aquascape. Hopefully I can keep the scape going for another 4 months. It will be really interesting to see what aquascape will look like after 2 years. Now that I'm done talking about this aquascape, I think it's time to show you guys a little bit of maintenance on the tank. There hasn't been any major problems recently, so this maintenance process shouldn't take too long. The first thing I'm going to be doing is siphoning out the water. I also wanted to clean the Silicone green carpet. Over the past few months, a lot of debris and detritus have built up in the carpet. It's important to try and keep carpeting plants as clean as you can. These debris and detritus may cause algae issues with the carpeting plants. If they build up too much in the carpet, they'll start to rot away, and this will provide the nutrients needed for algae to grow. So what I do is I use a turkey base to attach to a bit of tubing. Then the turkey base can be used to disrupt the debris and detritus trapped in the carpeting plants. Then once that muck's in the water column, you can just siphon it out. Now we're going to be moving on to clean the glass of the aquarium. I mentioned in the previous update video I was having some problems with green spot algae. I'm still having some issues with green spot algae at the moment. It seems to build up really quickly on the glass, but luckily this algae razor blade scraper does a good job at cutting through it. This type of algae grows like a crust on it, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to remove. So it's just took me a little bit longer than usual to clean it all off. I'm going to be experimenting with the light levels to see if I can reduce this problem. Ideally I want to eliminate this algae from the tank completely. The first plant I'm going to be trimming is the Crip Trim. At the moment this is the fastest growing plant in this aquascape. It's a little bit crazy to think of Crip's the fastest growing plant in my aquascape. You might have noticed in the start of the video it's kind of starting to drape all over the surface of the water. This is causing less light to reach the bottom parts of the aquarium, so I'm going to be giving this Crip Trim quite a harsh trim. This should allow more light to reach the Silicone green at the bottom of the aquarium. I did notice my Silicone green hasn't been growing as much, so hopefully it should receive more light, so it should grow better now. Now I'm going to move on to trim some of the other crypts in the tank. My main focus is to trim the crypt leaves that have any green spot algae on them. Once green spot algae takes over these leaves, the leaves won't be able to get enough light. This will cause the leaves to die over time. If I did leave these dead leaves in the aquarium, they'll start to rot away and produce organic matter. The excess organic matter in the water column could then cause more algae problems later on. So by trimming these leaves off early, I can prevent this problem from happening later on. Also by trimming the leaves, it should hopefully encourage some new healthy growth too. One thing I forgot to do earlier was to clean the silicone in the corners of the aquarium. I want to try and keep the silicone as nice and clean as I can. To do this, I found a toothbrush does a really good job at it. I decided to do a second trim pass to the Crip Trim. You can see there's still a lot of long leaves draping across the surface of the water, so I'm just going to trim these larger leaves away just to allow more light to reach the bottom of the aquarium. Now with all the main bits of maintenance done, it's time to fill the aquarium back up with fresh clean water. I will try to make sure that the temperature of the new water is similar to the tanks. By doing this you can prevent any massive temperature fluctuations. I have been very tempted to get a Python water change system. I really like the idea of not having to use buckets when I'm doing the maintenance on the tank, but so far it's been pretty difficult to find a Python system in the UK. If you guys know where I can get one, let me know in the comments below. That's pretty much all the maintenance now done. In a few hours time the water will settle down and look a lot clearer. Overall it's been a good maintenance session. I managed to remove a lot of the green algae that was growing on the glass, and I also removed a lot of leaves that are affected by the green spot algae too. I hope by the next maintenance video I'll get this green spot algae all under control. This was a problem I was kind of expecting with having lots of slow growing plants. Plants like the Crips and Java don't use a lot of nutrients. This means there's excess nutrients in the water column which will allow algae to grow. So if I did have some fast growing plants in the aquarium, it would probably reduce this problem. Just before I show you guys more footage of the aquascape, I just want to show you this floating plant I got. These are red root floaters and they grow really quickly. Originally I started off with 2 plants and now they're multiplied into what you can see here. I hope by adding this red root flow so it can use up all the excess nutrients that are in the water column, which will then also help to reduce my algae problems too. In a few weeks time I'm going to take some of these floating plants out and transfer them to my fishbowl aquascape. Here's the aquascape after everything's settled down. The water looks a lot clearer now, which is really nice. At the moment there's not really much height in the mid-ground. In a few months time I'm hoping the crypts grow back to how they used to be. I think this aquascape peaked at the 1 year mark. All the plants at that time looked super healthy and had some height to them too. Even the Java fern trident in the right hand corner of the tank filled out pretty well. It's a shame I had a bit of a disaster a few months ago. Ever since that massive dieback the tank hasn't been the same. I think I'm going to keep it running for just a few more months to see how it's going to turn out. I am feeling it's time for a little bit of a change. Maybe in 2020 I'll do a rescape of this aquarium. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel to see more.